Hi everyone, I'm WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, and this is Wake Up Weather for ABC7 NY and for Weather or Not, sponsored by TD Bank. Well, it's the same cool and damp story on Thursday, add a few more degrees, but also add the threat for a few more downpours as a tropical air mass returns to the area. And this is all about tracking Debbie, making a second landfall on the South Carolina coast and about to accelerate to the north. Carolinas will be happy about that, but then it's our problem as we go into Friday and start off the weekend. Thankfully, that word accelerate, we're going to see this storm leave us very quickly over the weekend. But it's cool and showery on your Thursday, and as a tropical warm front lifts into the area, there'll be a little bit more moisture. We can have a few more downpours from midday on, especially from the city west, and then into your Thursday night. It won't be as widespread. Remember, the ground is saturated, so we could aggravate some flooding concerns, but it's not like the event that we had Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. Now, Debbie's remnants really take aim at us on Friday afternoon into very early Saturday morning. So I would say somewhere in the 2 or 3 o'clock time period Friday afternoon to maybe into the 2 or 3 a.m. time on Saturday is probably the window. Maybe there are some leftover showers towards sunrise on Saturday, east end of Long Island, but I think it's moving out pretty quickly during the day on Saturday, and that's why we dropped the AccuWeather alert on Saturday. In terms of the impact, because the track of this remnant low, and I'll show you it on a map, is going so far to our west, the profile is a little different. We're not in line in the core of the heaviest rains. That's happening in places like Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Ithaca, New York, Syracuse, Watertown. Now, we can still get some flooding downpours, but we also are at risk for some thunderstorms that could cause some damaging winds, and there's a natural rotation in the environment of a remnant tropical system, natural shear, and we could have an isolated spin up of a tornado. Also, the coastal flood threat. We're going to have some really gusty south winds coming in, even south-southeast, and that's going to pile water along our coastline. Thankfully, we're coming off of a new moon last Sunday, so astronomically, our tides aren't super high. But I think once we get into that Friday afternoon, Friday night, and early Saturday tide cycle, we might see some minor to locally moderate coastal flooding. The good news is, because this is flying out of here on Saturday morning, we have a rapid recovery this weekend. And a lot of times behind a tropical system, there's so much subsidence or sinking air. The weather improves in a hurry and it gets pristine, so the sun will return in a hurry. We get the warm summer temperatures back, and we also get the benefit of low humidity behind the storm, and that will last for the majority of the weekend. Just have to get through early Saturday morning. But even then, it might be out of here by daybreak on Saturday. In terms of our futurecast, on Thursday morning, there's just some scattered showers around. It's basically cool and mostly cloudy. And then as the day wears on and we start to feel the influence of that tropical warm front lifting northward, I think we'll see more showers, and we have the opportunity for a few downpours around, and maybe even an isolated thunder shower as we head into the evening hours. And the one thing you'll notice if you're out late on Thursday evening is that the humidity is coming back and it's feeling more tropical again versus sort of the clammy, cool feel we felt on Wednesday and during a good chunk of the day on Thursday. By Thursday night, it's feeling more tropical. So then we're in a tropical air mass Friday morning. We've got a wind coming out of the southeast. We're in the 70s. We can get into the 80s again. It feels warm and humid. And if you have anything to do out and about on Friday, you should be fine through lunchtime, maybe very early afternoon. Then we start to see one of the heavy bands of showers and thunderstorms extending from the remnant low of Debbie, and that gets into our western suburbs. And that could be as early as 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Unfortunately, that could time out for a rough evening travel as you're trying to potentially get away for the weekend or just get home from work. And there could be some strong isolated severe thunderstorms, some damaging winds, maybe an isolated tornado, and the winds are howling, especially along the coast. Just what we call synoptically, with the overall large-scale weather system, we could get some 35, 40-mile-per-hour gusts at the coast, maybe even 50-mile-per-hour gusts. And then within the storms, you could go to severe levels and go over 55, 60-mile-per-hour storms. So once again with Debbie coming on shore and then accelerating, during the day on Friday, it'll probably just go from a tropical depression to what we call extratropical, so more of a hybrid storm. It has tropical moisture, but it's losing its tropical characteristics. And look at, by Friday early afternoon, the storm is maybe near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, so it's almost up to our latitude at that point, and that's when we can start getting into some of the heaviest rainfall. And, you know, we get to late Friday night, and the storm is already up near Burlington, Vermont, so that's why it's moving so quickly, and we're encouraged about the idea of our weather improving. But it's along the axis of this track that we'll see the heaviest rainfall. And we're just not in that. You know, this has progressed all week long. It went from the storm potentially being just to our south and east to over us to now being closer to maybe the I-81 corridor and then going into the Adirondacks. So let me show you on a map what it's doing. So this storm on Thursday is starting to interact with this tropical warm front, a feed of tropical moisture, and that's why I can't just forecast like Wednesday, just patchy light showers. We could get some heavier downpours coming in, but it's not all day. We go into Friday, we should start out quiet in the morning. Look at the core of the system of Debbie going over central New York State. And instead of seeing a solid blotch of rain and it raining for hours, you're seeing more of quick-moving cells, which could be severe thunderstorms, which start early Friday afternoon and maybe go to the wee hours of the morning on Saturday. And it's like just a traditional cold front coming through, blasts it out of here, and we start to improve rapidly with a nice drying breeze on Saturday. You're going to love the weather by Saturday mid-morning. Again, the axis of the 3 to maybe 6-inch rainfall is up through central Pennsylvania and upstate New York. And we're in more of a 1 to 2, maybe isolated 3-inch totals. It doesn't mean we can't have flooding. Remember, we had a lot of rainfall, so it wouldn't take much. Our bar is lower to see some ponding and some areas of flooding, so we have to be aware of that, and I don't want to just discard that threat. But it's not the type of rainfall totals that we saw on Tuesday night and Wednesday. But the problem is we also have saturated ground, so the trees are weaker, or at least the root systems might be more vulnerable to get some tree limbs down, so it may not take as strong gusts to take them down. And winds, I think we're going to get. You see how the core of some of the heaviest rainfall out through central PA and central New York. So if you do have Friday plans of travel off to the north and west, like say a Route 17 out in I-80, might want to think twice about going that route and wait until the weekend. So in terms of our futurecast gusts, just a snapshot of the evening hours, we could have some 40 or 50 mile per hour gusts along the coast, and maybe there are some 30, 35 mile per hour gusts even inland. And of course, within damaging thunderstorms, those winds could go severe and gusts over 60 miles an hour, and the prospect of an isolated tornado not out of the question. That's more likely from the city south and west. Wanted to touch on high tide times. I think the most vulnerable high tide time would probably be later Friday into very early Saturday. So for instance, Friday night, Coney Island, it's near midnight, same Sandy Hook, and around midnight, Fire Island and into the Battery. Montauk about 1:30 in the morning on Saturday. And Stanford's interesting because you might have some flooding after 3:30 in the morning on Saturday, but maybe even in the 3:30 afternoon on Friday, that part of the high tide cycle. You may have some minor coastal flooding there. All right, let's look beyond this. We get the tropical system out of the way. Where do our temperatures go? Because we're certainly going into more of a below normal stretch. Well, it looks like once we go beyond the 7-day, our temperatures are trending toward normal, maybe even above normal air just off to our north and west. So looks like maybe we get into the second half of August, we start getting a little bit of heat building again, but there's no extreme heat in the 7 to 10 day stretch, just at least getting back to some nice summer 80-degree temperatures. So that'll be nice. Not that it's going to be chilly like we've seen with that little October preview in the 60s on Wednesday. In terms of precipitation, yeah, there is an above normal signal, but I think that's more weighted toward the front end of this time period with sort of a vulnerability to fronts coming in from the north and west. We'll get probably into more of a southwesterly flow into the second half of the month, and our temperatures will be above normal again, and then our precipitation will probably go to near or below normal again. But still, we're in that transition time through about the 21st of August. Again, rain chances in the short term are highest, of course, Thursday and then Friday, and then look, they tail off nicely after early Saturday morning, and we should get a well-deserved dry stretch and get that summer sun back and get sort of our summer stride back in terms of our weather conditions. 66 degrees, 7 in the morning on your Thursday. There are some scattered light showers around. It's cool and damp. Light showers could be greeted by a few downpours mixed in during the afternoon hours. We're mainly cloudy. We're a couple degrees warmer than Wednesday, and it'll be very warm and humid tomorrow night. So we'll go for a high of 73 for Thursday. Occasional showers, a few downpours favoring the city west, mostly cloudy and still breezy out of the east-northeast. Boaters, that means 2 to 3 foot waves. The rip current risk moderate to high. So that's trending higher, dangerous rip current risk as we go through late week with the approach of the remnants of Debbie. Air quality will be good tomorrow. Pollen count low, UV index low with all the cloudiness. The weekend getaway. Obviously, it's the Catskills are stormy on Friday. We improved nicely on Saturday. I think the showers are already out of the picture. It's in the mid and upper 70s through the weekend. The Jersey Shore stormy on Friday. Saturday we'll have basically, I think we're actually dry from the get-go on Saturday in the Jersey Shore, and we're nice on Sunday. By the way, on Friday, I mean, if you were just, you had to sneak in a little beach time, you do that in the morning hours before some of the storms start to develop in the afternoon hours. Again, the Hamptons, the storminess wouldn't be actually until later in the day and in the evening hours. So you could actually get a little bit of clouds and hazy sunshine in the Hamptons, low 80s, and it's more humid, and you get some beach time in, even though we have an AccuWeather alert on Friday. On Saturday, maybe there's an early shower in the Hamptons, then we have some clearing, and Sunday looks very comfortable in the upper 70s. So on your Thursday night, if you're out and about, maybe after 8, 9 o'clock, you're going to say, well, now it's starting to feel more humid, more tropical out there. And then a few showers around. Maybe there's an isolated thunder shower. On Friday, the morning shouldn't be too bad, but anytime after lunchtime, we can get some of those downpours, maybe some severe thunderstorms rolling through with some damaging winds, coastal flooding a possibility, an isolated tornado. We go into Friday night. It's still bad through the wee hours of the morning on Saturday, but we probably dried out by dawn on Saturday. We're breezy. We're seeing the sunshine return. The humidity's lowering. It turns into a great day. Couldn't be nicer for the Dominican Day Parade on Sunday. Sunny to partly cloudy and perfect for the parade. On Monday, a little disturbance to the north. Could be a shower in the higher terrain, maybe. Not even enough to post here. Mix of sun and clouds around 80, and partly sunny and staying nice both Tuesday and Wednesday. What a beautiful stretch we'll have after we get past that eyesore on Friday with the remnants of Debbie. Your 7-day AccuWeather forecast is always available on ABC-7NY 24/7. Thanks as always for listening to Weather or Not. We'll see you next time. Rain or shine.